Welcome to ADRENALIZE. Oh, a bit too much adrenaline can have some funny consequences. Not the best conditions for driving, but pretty fine for riding, snowboard style. High above the stress of our daily grind, get on your board and ride. Come snowboarding and adrenalize yourself for a few minutes. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the skills and techniques of 3 different board sports: snowboarding, skateboarding, and surfing. Snowboarding's usually seen in waist-deep layers of fresh powder in mid-season conditions. Ideal and not always achievable. So we want to show you some boarding done in very ordinary snow conditions, and maybe you'll be inspired to give it a try. Selecting a board is easy, and to be honest, it's more about looks than function, as snowboard design has settled on a universal style board for everyday use. The boards are lightweight enough for tricks, giving riders freedom and mobility to grab plenty of air and snap instantaneous turns on the pipe or the slopes. At the same time, boards are constructed and reinforced with enough rigidity to endure icy ridges, dense packed snow, and the occasional unplanned encounter with a rock. Key to snowboarding's immense worldwide popular appeal is the ease of getting up on the board and into some tricks, even for beginners. The footage we're watching here is first and second season snowboarders in competition. Some have surfed and skated, others are used to be skiers looking for a new experience. The snowboarder suffers the least mobility of all board sports. Feet are bound to the board in a wide, permanently side-on stance. A disadvantage if you get in trouble, but a chance to try some neat tricks early on in your snowboard career without the skater's fear of leaving your board behind. The ramp is now the focus of competitive trickboarding. Beginner boarders have to balance their need for speed to drive momentum up the walls with their desire to land again and continue the ride. Well, that's the theory. Here's the practice, and practice is what it takes. For ramp boarding, there are 2 basic moves to master: lip turns and basic air. Every ramp move finishes up on the lip, and somehow you've got to get back down again. First up is fading back down fakie, which means simply just sliding back down the way you came. And all you need to do is shift your weight from front foot to back and turn your head back into the bowl. Easy. Then it's time to get some air, and that's all about individual expression and having the guts to give it a try. Pull something off, and whether you planned it or only just managed to survive it, best to tell anyone watching it's a switch. A switch is a trick And sure, one day they end up planned and intentional, but you gotta start somewhere. The boarder's technique is knees and upwards. Watch the rotation through the mid-body and you start to see the effect on snowboarders of being bound to their board. Snowboard boot bindings compared to skis leave a lot of room to move and flex, which is vital. Shifting weight across the width of the board controls the line a boarder takes, and placing body weight on the front or the back foot is half the work for speed. The other half is in the crouch. How low can you go decides how fast or how slow. Compare the moves. Snowboarding is the winter imitator or the offspring of surfing. Much of the body movement is in common on the two sports. A great wash of white surf could be a wave, or it could be a snow-clad mountain. Now, many novice surfers make the mistake of pulling out of a wave before taking the whole ride available. Surfing whitewash is a skill that takes time. Rather than the power surfing attributes of guts and commitment, whitewash asks for finesse, balance, and a lot of patience. Being covered in foam, bubbling and exploding around you and your board, it's a great rush. So there's no snow, surf's down, and you want to ride. The old favourite of urban adrenaline fans all over the world, skateboarding. Skateboarders have to master two basic moves, the ollie, lifting the board straight up in the air, and the kickflip, ollieing up and flipping the board under your airborne feet before landing again and hopefully skating on. Every jump and switch or trick is built on mastery of the ollie to get your deck airborne, and the kickflip for style and impact. Just watch how much work and movement the feet put in on controlling and driving the board for an adrenaline-rich ride over city streets, perfectly made for damaging skaters. Come for a ride on Oho Ski Field. We're going to take you right through the experience of snowboarding in a small, powder-packed snowfield that was one of the first to open its icy embrace to the phenomenon of snowboarding. The natural bowl here couldn't be better suited. So how does it feel to take on a slope on a snowboard? Well, it feels a lot like this. What is the perfect wave? A big tubing beast that opens up a passageway for the courageous surfer to skim through, or straighter, taller waves, allowing floater rides from the top of the wave lip, plunging to the bottom in a split-second freefall before picking you up for another rush to the shore. Clean, long-breaking waves like this allow long rides, but they demand the surfer find the pockets of power and momentum hidden in the wave. The turns surfers frequently take back into the wave and then driving around and on in front of the break again are called cutbacks. A key skill to be able to ride waves to their fullest, stretching out for acceleration of the lip, and yet having to cut back and pick up pace again for the wave's pockets of maximum velocity and do it all over. surfing is remarkably physical. Twist turns and part rotations of a surfer's torso can show where he's about to go and what move is about to be attempted. Constant adjustments of body height help control speed into sections of a wave and facilitate an otherworldly ride crouched in the blue tile lounge of a tubing wave. The number of cutbacks and turns we're seeing here show the skill and the athleticism of riding big waves and even moderate surf. You need the commitment and the technical prowess to keep riding that wave, even when to onlookers like me, it seemed that wave had done its dash. Well, that's about all you can do on a board, really. Not quite. Is she smiling? I don't think that's a real smile. More like the mask of terror, if you ask me. Ooh, nice big swell. Perfect tubes and talented riders. These guys are absorbing some serious impact as they pull snap turns across the waves to bring their boards and themselves back into the pockets of powerful surging water. Watch for their constant adjustments of foot positioning, switching control of the board from the front foot to the back for different moves and speed. Pro surfing air champ Oscar Wright reckons it's a simple process. It's incredibly difficult to pull off. You pick a point on the lip of the wave as you take off. Approach it with max speed. Now just as you hit the lip, ollie off the top. Tuck your legs into your chest and crouching as much as possible gets you maximum height. In the air, try and keep your weight centered over the board to maintain control when you land. There. Now you know how it's done. Easy. What's the perfect wave? Usually, it's the next one. Well, that's about it for our ADRENALIZE board sports episode. All that's left is to say, hope to see you next time, and to wave goodbye, which we'll leave up to the ocean.